And joining us now on the guest line, my good friend, Representative Hank Zuber from District 113.
Gerard, good morning. Good to be with you and your listening audience.
Thanks for coming on, Representative. Really do appreciate that. So, it's what time did you get home last night?
Around midnight, give or take. And I know you and your audience want to hear about the bill, but you will appreciate this. I always hear you talking about technology. But while we were at the Capitol yesterday, meeting a few representatives via Twitter, put Elon Musk on notice that if he continues to have some problems with California, he can always move Tesla to bypass Texas and come straight to the great state of Mississippi.
Absolutely. We would certainly embrace Elon Musk and all his little idiosyncrasies are just fine. Just come here and hire people and make cars and produce some wealth for the great state of Mississippi.
Absolutely. Good paying jobs. But, Gerard, let me tell you, I've been involved in politics a long time, a long time, and I've seen the legislative process work for several years, and I cannot be more proud of the House, the Senate, and the governor working as a team. And, just obviously on the House side, kudos to Speaker Philip Gunn, Jason White, Trey Lamar, Charles Busby, Robert Johnson, John Reed, and quite frankly, each and every member who provided some input and who had questions during this process to come up with the best product that we could. And you and the public knows that, look, I mean, the legislature receives a lot of bad press. And honestly, in some cases, it's well-deserved. But it's refreshing to see where the best interest of you, me, and our fellow Mississippi citizens are taking the highest priority. During this whole process, Gerard, nobody had a personal agenda. It was all about getting this money out quickly to our businesses, our citizens, without any type of personal agenda, special interest. And let's just get it done. And we did. So I'm very proud of the House, the Senate, and the governor.
No, I appreciate that too, Hank. And I agree with you. And I never bought into the notion that unfortunately so many of our citizens did, that there was just this big political fight and power struggle and all the other adjectives used to describe this situation where we just had the executive of the state that felt like that law was in his court and the legislature felt like law was in their court. And I always saw it as that, but I felt like at the end of the day, these are good people. They truly do have the best interest of the state at heart, that they're going to work this out. And I think the worst fears that everybody was espousing just a week ago, I don't even think apply anymore.
No, it's amazing how things can change overnight, Gerard. And you are absolutely correct. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. We came together, and every Mississippian should be proud of this piece of legislation and of your state government. Let's not forget, we are one of the first states to appropriate this money.
Yeah.
We appropriated this money timely. We appropriated this money efficiently. We appropriated this money going directly to the citizens and businesses of Mississippi and not to special interests and interests that have, a greater influence in some cases on the process than your typical, ordinary, working Mississippi citizen.
And that was the fear, and I honestly, I got to tell you, Hank, that to the extent I could, what little voice I have and influence, I tried to tell people in a respectful and nice way that I had confidence in the process, be it flowing through the governor's office or through the legislature. There was a lot of fear that if it went through the route of the legislature, that we would have legislation that was just packed with all sorts of pork and favors and special interest, and the lobbyists would just be descending upon the Capitol to influence and get their represented group special treatment. But Representative Zuber, the U.S. Department of Treasury guidance was clear. You can't. First of all, you can't do that, and if you do, we're going to claw it back. I never felt like the legislature that was lost on the legislature.
No, absolutely. I mean, the last thing we want to do is have the Feds come back and claw back some of this money. But just to follow up on your point, you're exactly right. I mean, the bill, I believe, is 14 pages, give or take.
Yeah.
It's rather simple to read. I'm sure you discussed the nuances and the specifics of the bill, but it's two avenues to get money. One is basically a direct payment, with a total, I think, appropriation of around $60 million. The second one is a application or grant process, which also, Gerard, is relatively simple. So, it's we did the right thing, and again, it's a good day for Mississippi and the taxpayers. And Gerard, I think you would agree with me. This, my friend, is the best way to spend that money because it gets multiplied. Not just 2 or 3 times, but maybe 4 times, 5 times throughout the economy. So, hopefully, it's a short-term relief package. Let's hope, God willing, and everything works out that, we're back open, maybe not the way we did it before, but we are completely open in the next, several weeks or a couple of months.
Yeah, and we should also point out, Hank, that there is a provision in the grant program, the grant aspect, and that would be the grants from up to $25,000. That's a different situation than the automatic $2,000 grants that are going out to all the businesses that were closed. But for the first 21 days, I believe, of the application period, businesses that did not receive a loan under the PPP program, the federal PPP program, would, I think, receive priority, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, that's correct. They would be eligible for the grant application and money. And as you mentioned briefly, the direct payment program, each business that meets that national business code and was shut down, through either federal, state, county, or local ordinances or executive orders, would automatically, receive that direct payment. As long as, generally speaking, as long as they, were domiciled in Mississippi and filed taxes, I believe, either in 2018 or 2019. So, it's not a long-term solution, Gerard, by any means. But again, I mean, every little bit helps short-term, and we're getting the money directly, efficiently, and timely to the citizens.
Yeah, and we should also point out, and you alluded to it a little bit, is that the classification system known as the North American Industry Classification System, it's NAICS for short, those were the businesses that were shut down. They were done so in accordance with NAICS, those that were deemed essential versus non-essential. And so the grant program will align with that, essentially. So what it does is it avoids those that would perhaps be in line to be approved for a grant that weren't shut down. It prevents that situation from happening.
That's correct. And like you mentioned before, there's an offset. You still, even if you receive the PPP money, under the grant program, you can get the state money, but there will be, I think, the offset is up to 50% of what you receive from Uncle Sam under the PPP program,
which I think is a good feature. I don't, I think you guys did good coming up with that, and I also would point out that this sense of urgency, we got to get some money out in a hurry. The $2,000 automatic grant, that's the vehicle to get that done. So I frankly think it was pretty well conceived, Hank, and kudos to you guys for doing that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And, something that we added to the federal program and I had a little input on was to make sure that the money, was not obviously not taxable, but was judgment creditor proof.
Yeah, exactly.
Immediately, so that a third party they need to pay their debts, and hopefully if you owe money you need to pay that, but now is not the time to have that assistance money go to a third party.
Hank, we're up against the break. I appreciate you coming on today, man. Thanks for your hard work, and thanks for coming in after being up late.
Anytime, Gerard. Take care.
Thank you. SuperTalk Mississippi Representative